Hi, my name is Max, and welcome to Top Movies, your home for the greatest rankings and countdowns in cinema. Now, I have to be honest with you, heist movies are my absolute weakness. There is something about a perfectly executed plan, a ticking clock, and a crew of misfit geniuses that just gets me every single time. So today we are counting down the 10 greatest heist films ever made. Films so clever, so tense, and so wildly entertaining that they practically rob you of your breath. 10th place, Ocean's 11, 2001.
Staged. Somebody made a duplicate of my vault. And what we saw on the monitor.
Steven Soderbergh's Ocean's 11 is, quite simply, the coolest movie ever made, and I will die on that hill. The film follows Danny Ocean, George Clooney, a slick, charming con man who walks out of prison and immediately starts planning to rob 3 of Las Vegas's biggest casinos simultaneously. His target? The Bellagio, the Mirage, and the MGM Grand. His crew? 11 of the most charismatic, wildly different specialists you have ever seen on screen, including Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, Elliot Gould, and Don Cheadle, doing what I can only describe as the most enthusiastic British accent in Hollywood history. But Ocean's 11 is so much more than style. Soderbergh constructs the film like a magic trick, layering misdirection on top of misdirection until the final reveal leaves you grinning from ear to ear. The ensemble chemistry is electric, the pacing is razor sharp, and David Holmes' iconic score gives every single scene a pulse. At its heart, the film is also a love story, with Danny's plan tangled up in his feelings for his ex-wife Tess, played by Julia Roberts. But the real romance here is between the audience and the heist itself. Ocean's 11 is pure cinematic pleasure, the kind of film you finish and immediately want to watch again just to catch everything you missed the first time. 9th place, The Italian Job, 1969. No paper, no Gregory Peck today. Before you say anything, yes, I know there is a 2003 remake with Mark Wahlberg and a fleet of Mini Coopers. And yes, it is perfectly enjoyable. But the original is something else entirely. Peter Collinson's The Italian Job is a quintessentially British caper film that oozes charm, wit, and 60s cool from every single frame. Michael Caine stars as Charlie Croker, a small-time crook who inherits an audacious plan to steal $4 million in gold bullion from the streets of Turin, Italy, causing a citywide traffic jam as a distraction. The plan itself is gloriously absurd and completely brilliant. The film's climactic chase sequence, featuring those iconic red, white, and blue Mini Coopers tearing through alleyways, up staircases, and across rooftops, remains one of the most joyfully inventive action sequences ever committed to film. Quincy Jones delivers a soundtrack so irresistibly funky that you will find yourself humming it for days afterward. And then there is the ending, one of cinema's most famous cliffhangers, literally. I will not spoil it for those who have not seen it, but I will say this, it is the kind of ending that sparks arguments at dinner tables 50 years later. The Italian Job is a pure, unadulterated blast of 60s cinema at its most inventive and entertaining. 8th place, Inception, 2010. Okay, so here's where some of you might push back. Is Inception really a heist movie? Technically, it is a reverse heist. Instead of stealing something from someone's mind, Dominic Cobb and his crew are planting an idea. But if you strip it down to its bones, Inception has everything that defines the genre. A brilliant, borderline, impossible plan. A crew of specialists each with a specific role. Escalating complications, betrayal, and a final act that leaves your jaw on the floor. Christopher Nolan's 2010 masterpiece stars Leonardo DiCaprio as Cobb, a thief who operates in the world of dream espionage, extracting valuable information from targets while they sleep. When he is offered a chance to have his criminal record erased, Cobb assembles a team to pull off the most complex job imaginable, planting an idea deep within the subconscious of a corporate heir. What follows is a film that operates on multiple levels, quite literally. Nolan constructs 4 layers of reality simultaneously, each with its own rules, its own stakes, and its own ticking clock. Hans Zimmer's thunderous score, the jaw-dropping zero-gravity hallway fight sequence, and DiCaprio's haunted, deeply committed performance all combine to create something genuinely unlike anything else in cinema. Inception is the heist movie as a philosophical puzzle box. It challenges you, dazzles you, and then keeps you arguing with your friends for hours afterward about what the ending actually means. Honestly, we are still arguing. It has been 15 years. 7th place, Rififi, 1955. If Ocean's 11 is the coolest heist movie ever made, then Jules Dassin's Rififi is the most quietly devastating. Released in 1955, this French noir masterpiece follows 4 career criminals who plan and execute a seemingly flawless jewelry heist in Paris. The film is famous, and rightfully so, for its extraordinary central heist sequence. 32 minutes of near total silence, no dialogue, no music. Just 4 men working with terrifying, meticulous precision as they break into a jewelry store through the ceiling. No score, no dramatic cutaways, just the unbearable tension of watching something that could go catastrophically wrong at any moment. It is one of the greatest sequences in the history of cinema, full stop. But Rififi is not simply a technical exercise. The film is also a tragic, deeply human story about the price of one last job and the way crime eventually consumes everything it touches. Dassin, an American director blacklisted during the McCarthy era who fled to Europe, brings a raw, almost autobiographical desperation to the material. The characters are not glamorous. They are tired, flawed men chasing something just out of reach. Rififi is the film that every serious heist movie owes a debt to, and it remains as gripping and emotionally powerful today as it was 70 years ago. If you have not seen it, stop what you are doing and fix that immediately. 6th place, Inside Man, 2006.
Find a dead hostage?
Negative.
If it ain't here, you must have missed something.
Maybe, but I'm pretty sure we're the only one.
Spike Lee's Inside Man is the kind of film that makes you feel genuinely outsmarted, and somehow you love it for that. Clive Owen stars as Dalton Russell, a meticulous bank robber who walks into a Manhattan bank with a crew, takes hostages, and then proceeds to run circles around every detective, negotiator, and authority figure the city of New York can throw at him. Denzel Washington plays Detective Keith Frazier, the hostage negotiator assigned to the case, who slowly begins to realize that nothing about this robbery is what it appears to be. The film is a masterclass in misdirection. Lee and screenwriter Russell Gewertz construct a heist so carefully layered that even on a second viewing you find yourself catching new details you missed entirely. The performances are extraordinary across the board, with Jodie Foster delivering a deliciously icy turn as a power broker with her own agenda inside the negotiation. What separates Inside Man from lesser heist films is its refusal to play fair with the audience. Just when you think you have it figured out, the floor drops away beneath you. It is clever, tense, and endlessly rewatchable. And Denzel Washington being Denzel Washington for 2 hours is never, ever a bad thing. 5th place, The Sting, 1973. Paul Newman, Robert Redford. A con so elaborate it takes the entire runtime of the film to fully understand. And one of the greatest endings in Hollywood history. George Roy Hill's The Sting is a masterpiece of genre filmmaking that remains as enormously entertaining today as it was when it swept the Academy Awards in 1974, taking home 7 Oscars, including Best Picture. Set in 1936 Chicago, the film follows small-time grifter Johnny Hooker, a young Robert Redford, who teams up with legendary con man Henry Gondorff, a magnificently relaxed Paul Newman, to run the ultimate con on a ruthless crime boss played by Robert Shaw. The genius of The Sting is that the film itself operates like the con at its center. It leads you carefully by the hand, builds your trust, and then pulls the rug out from under you in the most satisfying way imaginable. Scott Joplin's ragtime score, arranged by Marvin Hamlish, gives the whole film an irresistible bounce and energy. Newman and Redford's chemistry is so effortless and natural that you wonder how the screen contained it. The The sting is joyful, intricate, endlessly clever filmmaking. It is the kind of movie that reminds you why you fell in love with cinema in the first place. Fourth place, Reservoir Dogs, 1992. Now, technically speaking, Reservoir Dogs is not a traditional heist film. We never actually see the heist. What Quentin Tarantino gives us instead is the catastrophic aftermath of a diamond heist gone horrifically wrong, filtered through sharp, relentless dialogue and a non-linear structure that builds unbearable tension. And somehow, that is even better. The film follows a group of strangers, each identified only by a color-coded alias, as they regroup in an abandoned warehouse after their carefully planned jewelry robbery descends into chaos and bloodshed. Someone in the crew is a police informant, but who? Tarantino's debut feature announced the arrival of one of the most singular voices in cinema history. The performances are extraordinary, with Harvey Keitel, Tim Roth, Steve Buscemi, and Michael Madsen all delivering career-defining work. The infamous ear scene remains one of the most viscerally uncomfortable sequences in cinema, made all the more disturbing by the fact that Tarantino wisely keeps the camera away from the actual violence. Reservoir Dogs also introduced audiences to the Tarantino formula that would define an era: non-linear storytelling, pop culture dialogue, operatic violence, and a soundtrack so perfectly chosen, it becomes a character in itself. For a film made on a budget of approximately $1.2 million, its ambition and impact are genuinely staggering. Third place, Heat, 1995. Let me just say this up front, as if this list were purely about the greatest crime film ever made, Heat would be sitting comfortably in first place and we would all go home happy. But we are ranking heist movies specifically, and two films ahead of it simply would not let that happen. I am sorry, Michael Mann. I truly am. Now, with that out of the way, let us talk about why Heat is one of the most extraordinary films ever committed to celluloid. Michael Mann's magnum opus runs at nearly 3 hours, and somehow, impossibly, never loses its grip on you for a single second. Not one. Al Pacino plays Vincent Hanna, a driven, borderline unhinged LAPD detective who has sacrificed everything on the altar of the job. On the other side of the law stands Robert De Niro's Neil McCauley, a cold, supremely disciplined professional thief who lives by one ironclad rule: never get attached to anything you cannot walk away from in 30 seconds flat. Two men, two opposing philosophies, one inevitable collision. The film builds toward an iconic midpoint scene that stops everything dead in its tracks. Pacino and De Niro, two of the greatest actors their generation has ever produced, sharing the screen together for the very first time, sitting across the diner tables and simply talking. No action, no violence, just two men who understand each other completely, speaking with the quiet, loaded respect of equals who know exactly how this story ends. It lasts only a few minutes. It is one of the greatest scenes in the history of cinema, and I will not be taking questions on that. Mann surrounds this central duel with filmmaking of extraordinary ambition and craft. The downtown Los Angeles bank robbery sequence is a particular highlight, featuring thunderous, technically precise gunfire, so bracingly realistic that it has been studied and replicated by action filmmakers ever since. It is one of the most viscerally overwhelming action sequences ever put on film, and it lands with the force of a freight train. But underneath all of that craft and spectacle, Heat is really a film about obsession, discipline, and the profound loneliness of men who have given absolutely everything to what they do. It is thrilling, it is haunting, and it is, very quietly, a tragedy of the highest order. Second place, The Town, 2010. Ben Affleck's The Town does not get nearly enough credit, and I will argue that point all day long. Set in Charlestown, a neighborhood of Boston with a legendary reputation for producing bank robbers, the film follows Doug McCrae, Affleck himself, a skilled thief and the de facto leader of a tight-knit crew, who begins to question everything about the life he has chosen. When a bank robbery goes sideways and the crew takes a hostage, Claire, played by Rebecca Hall, Doug is tasked with finding out what she knows. He gets closer to her than he should. He falls for her, and then everything starts to unravel in the most inevitable, heartbreaking way possible. The Town is a film that works simultaneously as a tense, propulsive crime thriller and as a quietly devastating character study. Affleck directs with confidence and authority, staging 2 genuinely spectacular heist sequences, including a Fenway Park robbery that is breathtaking in its audacity. Jeremy Renner delivers an Oscar-nominated performance as Doug's volatile, unpredictable best friend, bringing a raw, barely contained energy to every scene he occupies. What lifts The Town above so many of its peers is its emotional honesty. This is a film that understands that the greatest heist these men are attempting is trying to escape the circumstances that made them who they are, and it does not pretend that is easy. And in first place is Goodfellas, 1990. Yes, we are going there. Martin Scorsese's Goodfellas is the greatest heist film ever made, and before anyone argues, let me make the case. The Lufthansa heist at the heart of the film, one of the largest cash robberies in American history at the time, is not simply a set piece. It is the engine that drives the entire second half of the narrative, and the chaos that follows its execution is one of the most gripping sequences Scorsese has ever put on screen. Based on the true story of mob associate Henry Hill, played by Ray Liotta in the performance of a lifetime, Goodfellas follows Henry's journey from wide-eyed Brooklyn kid to full-blown organized crime figure over the course of 3 decades. Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci, delivering one of the most terrifying and Oscar-winning performances in cinema history, round out a cast that crackles with danger and electricity in every single scene. Scorsese's direction is relentless. The camera never stops moving. The editing never lets you breathe. The soundtrack is a wall of perfectly chosen rock and roll that somehow makes everything feel both glamorous and doomed simultaneously. Goodfellas is the film that makes you understand the seductive pull of this life, and then systematically dismantles every illusion it has built. It is thrilling, funny, tragic, and utterly unforgettable. It is not just the greatest heist movie ever made. It is one of the greatest movies ever made, full stop. And there you have it, the 10 greatest heist films of all time. From the cool, effortless swagger of Ocean's 11 to the raw, electrifying brilliance of Goodfellas, each of these films proves that there is no genre quite as endlessly thrilling as a perfectly crafted heist.